I normally do pre-record, but since we live, they get to see all the mistakes I make in the beginning. Ooh. That's okay. I mean,
I'm about to press.
Real players fuck up. So,
hey, we all do.
All right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Where I Come From, where the only requirement is to be where I come from. It is I, Mr. Tone Deaf. We back in the building on this rainy Friday. It's been raining all week here in Milwaukee. So if you are from where I'm from, you know we've been through it. The other day, I literally got stuck in the storm over by Miller Parkway. I would not call it whatever it's called. It will always be Miller Park to me.
Okay.
Got stuck over by Miller Park for about an hour. So I will be dropping the video clips of what that experience was. It was funny. I ended up just sitting there for an hour watching TV on my phone. Chilling. Because I wasn't going nowhere.
Because you blessed.
I wasn't going nowhere. I wasn't worried about it.
Taken care of.
Always.
Can you hear me on here?
We can hear you.
Is mine on?
Yours is on.
Testing 1 2.
You know how to work a mic. So I don't even know why you acting silly. As y'all can see here, I am joined today by a very special guest. So as y'all know, TDR Network is celebrating their 15th anniversary of being in business, and I am having conversations with a lot of people who have been on this journey with me. So you will see a lot of familiar faces, hear a lot of familiar voices. For those who are strictly only doing the audio podcast, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. If you are watching us right now live, good, you got internet and your power not off. But,
okay.
But I am joined by the multi-talented, multifaceted, wonderful woman who goes by multiple different names. So depending on who I get here today, you may get Bree, you may get Grace,
you're getting all of them.
You may get Mother, you may get it all. But I am Def. This is one of the most amazingest people I have ever had the pleasure of not only knowing but working with. In 2020, when I was still in Sherman, Phoenix, she started not one but 2 different podcasts with me. First, she started audio only when we were still at Five Wise, and then she launched her second podcast when we were at Sherman, Phoenix. And since then, this woman has done a lot of amazing things. And I have watched from the distance as she has revolutionized everything from the hair care world to the spiritual world to, it was one point in time, she was steaming y'all yawnies. So,
okay, getting the coochies right.
Getting them right. But it was all being done with purpose. And now she is finally doing something that I knew she had skills of doing, because there is a secret unreleased freestyle.
Oh my God, you still have that?
I don't get rid of nothing. Secret unreleased freestyle. You
gotta send me that. Oh my God, that's when I was all scared.
And you know what's crazy? I think I end up mixing it to music, so I actually think I have a releasable version of that for you too.
Oh my God, Tom.
So
do not do that.
It was dope.
I want to hear it. No, I was not that good then.
That's what you
I did not have the confidence.
That's where it's different at. You had the skills, you just didn't have the confidence.
Yeah.
But that's the one thing. Anybody who personally knows you, they'll be surprised you say that. Yeah. Because you exude confidence in everything. So let's go ahead.
And you always push me.
Thank you. Thank you. You were actually one of the first people who actually tried to give me an award for what I was doing, but I personally felt like I didn't deserve it at the time. So that's why I turned it out.
Absolutely deserve it.
And after my growth and my own, spiritual self-discovery and stuff like that, yeah, I see why you picked me at that time. Absolutely. So I postpartumly accept that award.
You're doing your shit.
I try.
No, you're doing it. There is no try. Do or do not. There is no try.
This is why you.
What is that off of?
I don't even remember.
What?
Girl, I am.
Star Wars. Come on now.
First of all, I would never have pegged you as a Star Wars person.
No, I'm not. I just remember that quote. It penetrated my soul because it's true. Just do that shit. Ain't no trying. You either doing it or you're not.
That is so true. So let's go ahead. Let's start with your humble beginnings here. So what made you even dive into the world of skincare, healthcare, and just helping people holistically?
The catalyst into this lifestyle was my own pain and sufferings.
Okay.
Literally. I've always, since the adolescence, dealt with horrible acne. Like I always loved myself, and I was always confident because that's how I was raised, with that love. But I hated my skin. I got bullied when I was in like 5th grade for that shit. I hit puberty really early, sooner than a lot of girls and boys. I was always mature, developed very, very fucking early, and even in the skin area, like skin was fucking matured as hell and pimpled the fuck out. And then I was a picker because of anxiety and the feelings of the insecurity, which caused me to pick even more. So my skin it wasn't good. And then I didn't have the best, I ate a lot of sweets. So the skin, it made it go straight to my skin.
To your skin.
Literally. Like now, like if I get my cycle, you know how women, we crave shit. And I'll satisfy that craving during my cycle, and then my face be bumped the fuck up. And then I'll be like, I know what to use though to get rid of that shit. Sacred Skin Essentials. Thank you. But yeah, it started from my own pains, my own sufferings. Can I lift this up? I feel like I'm leaning back. I'm not a leaning back type of bitch. I'm a sitting up,
adjust it like you need to be
type of girl. But no. So also, I had my journey of being like addicted to weaves and getting my relaxers. I've always had long, beautiful hair when I was young, but when I became an adult and like getting addicted to the weaves and shit, it just damaged my hair completely, and I never knew what natural was. And I was like, I remember the last relaxer I had did before I had did like a sew-in with a leave out. I got a fucking bald spot, nigga. So then I'm putting more weave in it to cover the fucking bald spot. It was just too much. And then I remember one day my second oldest, she was like, I don't like my hair. I want my hair to be long and pretty like you and Maya's, which is my oldest daughter. She had more longer hair. And that shit bothered me. She was like, I don't look pretty. You and Maya got long hair. And I was like, yeah, I'm not about to allow my daughter to walk around and feel that way. And I need to set an example. I want her to love herself. So then I did, like, she was the influence behind me wanted to go natural and do the big chop. Literally, my Naya poo. And her birthday is on Sunday. That's my baby, my chocolate drop. But yeah, so I didn't. As a mother, I'm like, hell no, I don't want my daughter not loving herself. What the fuck I look like? It's a lot of babies out here addicted to fucking weed, and that's a problem.
You know what? I noticed that.
That's a problem.
I have 2 daughters, as you already know, and my listeners know, and they have never had anything done to their hair that's not a natural setup.
Yeah,
they've never had a perm. They've never had their hair cut. Their mom and their grandma and their auntie will not allow anybody to touch their hair but themselves, and they have a lot of it. They have a lot of it. That one day I tried to braid. I was like, look.
They got a handful of hair.
So let somebody else have that. But my oldest is going through the same issue you're going through right now, whereas she started having her period very early. So she's a very developed young girl already, but she still has her innocence. So a lot of times I have to have that conversation with her. I pour into her, I think, more than I pour into anybody else.
Father.
Oh, no, you know I don't play about that.
I know that, and I love that about you.
I can't pour into nobody else and not sure my own is not being poured into. Gas all day, 93. But she actually now is having the skin issue where her skin is breaking out all the time, and she can't use every single thing on her skin because it's very sensitive. So the first person I thought of was you.
Thank you.
Because I know that you've been helping a lot of people. You helping women for years, and you even helping the men get their beards together.
Okay, and their skin. I have a lot of men that use my skincare as well.
I see that. So how did you feel about the very first time when you had your products physically in a store?
Oh my goodness.
Because I remember the post, but how did you feel that day?
Oh My heart was so full of joy and gratitude because I didn't even seek them. Shout out to Joe and Alex. They opened up Center Street Wellness.
Yep.
It's no longer open due to COVID,
Right.
man, affecting them, but they created a beautiful, thriving environment and to also help a lot of entrepreneurs who, had product based um products and services, because remember we were able to use the other side. They had a yoga side in there as
Right.
well. But I received Joe is one of my I love Joe so fucking. I love you, Joey. My fucking boy. But we've been friends since high school. We went to Mesmer together. And he reached out to me one day. I didn't even know he was opening a wellness center
Right.
slash store front slash barista. But he reached out to me one day and he was like, "Hey, I see you making hair and skincare and spiritual products." He's like, "I'm opening a store with my good friend Alex, and we want your products in there." And I was like, "What? What? What?" Like, I couldn't believe that shit, because this was like I was on my masterpiece shit, selling that shit out the trunk.
Right, you were.
Nigga, what you want? What you want? You want some soap? You want some oil? And of course, out of Sacred Loves, my physical wellness center that I had. However, that shit meant a lot to me. And he was like, "Let's talk business. Let's have a meeting." Then we had a meeting, and then it got real. And then he's like, "We're opening in a couple weeks, and we need this much to be in stock." And then it got realer. And then the day happened. The mayor was there. It was a lot of my friends and family came, and it was just beautiful. And a very impactful individual in the community was the first person to buy my product, and that shit meant a lot to me. And I didn't even know who he was, but I learned about him. Aziz. He was the first person. He walked up. He was like, it was I think his wife was his girlfriend during that time, or fiance. I couldn't remember the title that he gave, but he said, "You make feminine products for women." He was like, "Oh yeah, I have to get some for my woman." And he bought my yoni wash. And I was like, "Oh my God." And everybody was like, "He's a really well-known person in the community." And I was like, "Really?" And then I learned, I had to learn, but that was my first introduction to him. He was so supportive, and he poured in me. He spoke so many beautiful things into me. And then after that, I think I sold, I had 10 sales that day, the first day. That meant a lot to me.
Did.
Oh my God. And then from there, it was going crazy in the store. My hair oil would sell out every time I restocked. And Joe would send me pictures of him with the oil, this the last bottle, G. What you finna do, G? And then he's the one that created my website for me. He was like, "You bigger than this."
Exactly. And
yeah.
Because it was funny, because for a point in time, nobody thought it was Joe's spot. They thought it was your spot. They did.
And I kept telling Joe, he was like, I don't mind. Yeah. He was like, "I don't mind. Yeah. We in this together. Right. It's all of us."
If you, as a business person, you can think whatever you want as long as it's bringing in business. And that's how he looked at it. I know, because that's how I look at stuff too. But once the pandemic hit, and of course the space had to close, that didn't stop your hustle.
It didn't.
So what made you, or what helped you pivot? Because now I can walk into almost a few beauty shops here in the city, and you got a whole shelf and a whole stock and a whole. How do we get there?
God is so good. Oh, I just have to stop. I'm so grateful. Damn, I'm about to get all teary-eyed and shit. It's been a journey, man. And I'm still growing, and it's still a lot of learning. However, the closing of the store, it was like, y'all know I'm a real ass bitch, but it was like dope money. So it was just coming, and it was coming. And then I started building a lifestyle around that as well. And then I also had a demand for it. And it was like, when the store closed, it's like, you can't stop at this point.
No.
One, because you want this lifestyle. And two, the people, you want to give the people what they need. They're calling you, they're blowing you up. And just because the store closed, what else now? But he was like, it was beautiful that, I don't even know if Joe knew the store was gonna close. Well, no, I'm not even gonna say that, because the pandemic was random as fuck.
The pandemic.
It was planned, the pandemic, but we know how that go. But he had already gotten the website going. It wasn't finished, but he had already started it. So then when it happened, and he ended up getting a new office space, he had me coming out there, and he slowly just built the website. And so it wasn't that much time in between to where I was then able to offer online, and then I could just ship it out because I didn't want motherfuckers coming to my house like that.
No, you don't
And
want
then
to.
I wasn't always available or open at Sacred Love because by that time I had pivoted into doing hair more too. So Sacred Love was kind of like not the back burner, but the forefront was the salon and the products.
Right.
Um, so it just all was in divine order and all fell in line for me, just without me having to do much. Even in those moments it felt like a lot, or like I had to think about a lot, or how am I going to do this, but it was all happening for me. And we have to remember that when those times come. Why you choosing at me like that?
Because I'm proud of you. I am, okay. I have watched your journey from the outside looking in.
You have.
So I've seen a lot of things you've been through, and without diving deep into your personal and the struggles you went through, you definitely went through a lot to get here.
Yeah.
This is also around about the exact same time you started your first podcast.
Yes.
So you were spiritually still trying to pour into people. You were still trying to grow your brand. You were trying to navigate the unexpected change in regards to it. So it was a lot going on at that time. But I'm glad you brung up this now. You said you went from skiing to you started working on hair, which ends up being Queen's Crowns Essentials.
Yes.
What made you make that pivot though?
So I've always done hair. I've been doing hair since 2013.
Okay.
And then when I became natural, I started learning the importance of taking care of the hair and the scalp. And then throughout that journey, I started learning the importance of good products. Like I never knew the importance of natural products on the hair. And so that came. And so in 2016, I remember one of my regular clients who've been coming to me since the beginning. Her name Margaret. Shout out to my girl, one of my biggest customers too. I was doing her hair one day and she was like, I'm tired of you using other people's products. She said, why don't you make your own? You know so much. Because we was talking about, I'm a nerd. Talking about science, talking about products, talking about the hair. And she was like, why don't you just make your own? I'm tired of you using other people's products. We want. She said we. And I'm like, who you talk about? Because she just know, She was like, yeah. She was like, we want you to make products for us. And I was like, for real? She was like, yes. So when she said that though, I still wasn't there yet. Right. So that was the early conversation. And then in 2016 is when I started working on Queen's Crown hair oil. Okay. And so started slowly. And then 2017 is when I really was like in the books, studying the hair, studying. I studied for 2 years. I created maybe like 20 different batches before I perfected it. Okay. I had one of my close friends, Juria. I love you, baby. Shout out to you. She is behind the birth of Queen's Crowns Essentials. I chose her because it's important that we don't have yes mans and yes women around us. Right. And I'm not saying my other friends are, but she is very blunt in that one. That one person that just don't give a fuck if it hurts your feelings. Right. I love that about her. And I knew she was going to be honest. So I kept having her try the different batches. And she was like, nah, this ain't it. I was like, damn. She's like, nah, this ain't it each time. And when I got to the last one before, I remember she specifically said, she was like, hey, Candace. She was like, you are so close. I remember she was like, you are so close. It's just still solidifying too much. She was like, we wanted to stay an oil. But the reason it was solidifying, I'm about to geek out right now. The nerdy side is coming out.
They're used to that.
My blend is a literal recipe and a process, right? And the formula, I wanted to make sure I had pure shea butter in that formula, but because shea butter is so healing and powerful for the hair. Okay. And all of the other ingredients are as well, but that shea butter is like the dense additive and a natural additive, not a synthetic additive, that puts them all together and just really helps to penetrate the scalp even more. So it like carries it, right? But that batch that she was talking about before I made that final one, it was too much shea butter to where it was solidifying. So I had to perfect it to where it's still enough shea butter to be penetrating and to be not just penetrating, but effective.
Right.
That's the word. But not too much to where it's solidifying. And then I just went in geek mode, and I just was up all night for like a week. And then I gave her that last formula, and she came back. She used it for a week, and she was like, "This it, bitch." And I was like, "For real?" I was like, "For real?" She was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I'm finna drop it." She was like, "Do that shit." And I was like, "All right." So, and I was using it on the kids here in between time as well. And this shit just worked. My shit worked. My shit is magic. I love it. It's not no bullshit and not just thrown together. Literally 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
I started 2017. It dropped 2019.
And the crazy thing about it is, I know women who live and die by it.
Yes.
Like they talk about it high.
The crack. They call it hair crack.
When I needed to kind of help my youngest with her scalp, we were using it for a while. It was making her hair grow too fast.
Yeah, so it will.
So we had to
slow down.
Like, hold up.
I had somebody cuss me out and send me pictures in an inbox saying, she was like, "Bitch, I'm not using your hair oil no more." And that's how she left it. And I was like, "Hold the fuck up." And she came back and she was like, "My hair is growing too fast. I just paid $300 for these braids."
Right.
And I was like, "Oh yeah, that's what happened when you messing with magic, baby."
That's what happened. And I'm proud of you in regards to that. You also you were helping men with the beard oil as well too. And it was,
get them fucking beards in order, nigga.
It was filling out a lot of those little patchy spots.
Looking like Anthony Hamilton.
Hold on now.
Patches. Get them patches in order.
Then it ended up in stores. How did you feel about that? Now that blew me away, because you were in regular beauty supply stores and in high demand. And it wasn't just like a couple of bottles. No, you had whole end caps, and eventually almost had a whole section of a shelf by yourself.
Yes, I'm so grateful for that. So, I'm so grateful. Okay, so this was 2021, and Queen's Crown was popping hard as fuck during that time. And it was just like at a peak, and I was like, I need another source and another outlet for Queen's Crown, is besides the salon, besides the online website where they can just go and grab it.
Right.
So I was going to these Korean-owned beauty supply stores that been in our cities for years, and they never gave back to us. They never did shit for us. Don't care about our community. Be vultures on our neck when we walk in their motherfucking stores. I'm going to them saying hello with professional proposal. Had an entire proposal, 3 pages. Hey, I'm the owner of Queen's Crown Essentials. I have a huge customer base. I'm local. I'm looking to, possibly collaborate or have partnership and being in your store. And they just turn me down every time, or would just laugh at me. There was a couple that laughed. And I'm just like, "Oh, okay, bitch, cool." Because that ain't going to stop me.
Not at all.
But that's cool. And I never let one store turn me away. And I went to several, and they all turned me away. And I seen Beauty Palace was opened up. And one day I was riding past, and I was like, I'm gonna go in there and see if they give my. It ain't gonna hurt. I'm gonna ask every beauty supply store.
All they can say is no.
Couple weeks before that, I asked the one up the street on East Capitol, across from Walmart, where that Payless used to be.
Yeah,
I had went in there and asked them. No, so went into Beauty Palace. Walked up to my guy Frenchie, Arab. That's my boy. That's my boy. Oh yeah, that's my nigga. And I was like, "Hey, how you doing? We talking and stuff. We vibing." And I was like, and he was like, "Yeah, we would love for y'all to come shop more." And we were telling him how we had the salon up the street.
Right.
We can send our clients there. And he was like, "Yeah, we'll give y'all discounts if y'all send clients. We just trying to get our name out." And I was like, "Oh, I have a hair care brand. I would love to, if I can be." He was like, "Bring it." He cut me off.
Just bring it.
He cut me off, y'all. When he cut me off, I could not embrace it or accept it,
because you didn't know what it was yet.
Yes. So then I kept talking. I was like, "I'll bring you a proposal." He was like, and I'm still talking. He was like, "I just said bring it in." And I was like, "Oh, okay, when?" He was like, "Tomorrow." I was like, "Oh, okay. How many?" He was like, "We'll start off with 10 of each product." I was like, oh shit, okay. And I was like, okay, wait, no, I need to prepare for this. I need to prepare. I was like, can I do like a big announcement and da da da? He was like, hell yeah, let's do that shit. He was like, come on, queen, come on. And I was like, wow. He was like, we about the community. You local. We want to see this for you.
Exactly.
And I was like, wow. And I went and I left and I just cried in the car. I was like, oh shit. And I cried in the car. And then, like, of course, within that time, we talked numbers and how to do the partnership and things of that sort because we're about business. Okay.
Always about business.
Handled that. And I just cried and I was just so grateful. And yeah, it was like a couple weeks later, I got into the store, made a big announcement, went live, got into the store. They gave me an end cap. What?
That's the first thing
what?
they say.
And then they was like, they called me back maybe like a month later. We had another conversation. Like, he like, this shit moving. He was like, it's moving. And then like a couple months later, they was like, you're big. You're bigger than this. We gotta get you there. So they are 100% behind me. I love Beauty Palace. They opened another location maybe like 6 months later.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. 6 months later, and that's the Beauty Palace Center. So the first one was the Beauty Palace MKE on East Capitol. That was the first location I was in. And then now I'm in the Beauty Palace Center, and they have been nothing but supportive, and they want to see me grow. They have taught me game. They have guided me. They really stand by my product, and they are about community, and that's what's even more important because I'm more than just about myself. And I love how they care about the community. I love how they care about giving back. They do something for every holiday. Literally every holiday, and I'm talking about giving things to the community. Food, coat. He do coat drives. He do food drives. He give away hair. He do bag fill up days. He was like, I know how it is hard for mothers. He was like, and you know, we all brown people because they're Yemen, they're Yemenis. And he was like, and these motherfucking Koreans don't be doing shit for the community. And then he done came in here and changed the game because now they start doing deals like him that they never did before.
And that's why it was meant for you to go there.
Exactly. And then after that, I got to give props to Capital Beauty. Then I got picked up by Capital Beauty. So I'm inside both Beauty Palace locations and Capital Beauty. And Capital Beauty now has another location as well. So
basically what she's saying is don't shop nowhere else but Beauty Palace and
Capital Beauty. And they're both black and brown owned, baby. Okay. You want to stick with us, who care about the community, who give to the community, who is the community. Okay. Right. We have to start calling back and having authority over our dollar because we have the largest dollar. That gets circulated.
We are the consumers they talk about.
Absolutely. So we want to be mindful of who we are circulating our dollars with, for real. And those who care about our community. Okay. Even if they're not in it, even if they're not a black person, but they care about the black community.
Exactly.
That's fucking essential. Like, and I know there are certain circumstances where we can't always invest in a black business or a brown business because I'm not going to sit here and act like every dollar goes to them, but I do my best to be mindful. But if it's a convenience, because sometimes black people be black people in their businesses, and I don't have the capacity for it. Right. Because I'm going to be honest about that shit. Niggas be nigging. And so I'm going to go over where I feel value. I'm still gonna go where I feel value, though.
That's the most important part.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you a question. Because you radiate God's energy. Okay. I think you are probably one of the first people I ever met that the word goddess had an actual physical being that went with it. So you are kind of like my definition. How do you balance your goddess energy with your CEO energy while still being an awesome mom?
Okay. I appreciate that question. So goddess energy is CEO energy. There is no balancing those. And a goddess is a mother. A goddess is the front line of all of them. The goddess is the head of all of them. Okay. That's the divine self that allows you to operate and thrive in all of them. Okay. However, under that's like the umbrella, right? Under that is where these mundane or fleshly titles come. Mother, okay, CEO, daughter, all these other things, musician, artist. But the goddess is the head that guides them and is the divinity that allows me to do my best and keep thriving and keeping my head above water in all those roles and figuring out using my divine mind and intellect on what it looks like in real time to balance it out, and then or call forth the support that I need to keep balancing it out. It's not always easy to walk firmly in that goddess self. It doesn't mean you don't walk in it, but sometimes it can be challenging. But heavy is the head that wears the crown.
Okay.
However, it can be challenging at times because of the fleshly experience,
Okay.
the emotions that arise, the circumstances that arise, and the data that we see, and feel. However, we have to call it back and remember to stay on that throne. And that's what's going to give us the solutions and the guidance and help us to be our best self.
When did you start working in your spiritual divine energy?
My journey began in 2017.
Okay.
Yeah.
The reason why I asked that question is because you are the definition of divine energy. You are actually the one who put me into that world.
Oh,
just listening
I didn't
to
know that.
Yeah. I was already there. I've always been a spiritual person anyway, but listening to a lot of the podcast episodes y'all do, you and Anna.
Our podcast was good as fuck. That podcast was so good.
It was very interesting to listen to. I always walked away with something. I definitely learned more about my chakras than anything from y'all. Even watch y'all do random yoga.
Yes.
Matter of fact, I gotta reach out to my spirit animal. I ain't talked to her in a while.
Yeah, reach out to her.
I haven't reached out to her. But
shout out to Daviana Leonard.
Yes,
that was my girl.
That's
my girl. I'm saying like as far as the podcast, we did our shit with that.
That was I actually was just talking to her the other day. I need to hit her up. But like we said earlier, when you first started podcasting, you were dabbling in music. And music actually is in your family. You Bear does music.
My uncles. I grew up around it.
Shout out to Bear. Shout out to Tell the Truth, Shame the Devil.
That's my brother, y'all.
My boys. He recently just did an episode on Savannah's Lucas Has No Face podcast, as well as every Sunday night. You can catch them here as well too at TDR doing their podcast with JJ and D Nils. When did you fall in love with hip hop?
Oh, I fell in love with hip hop. I would say I was around like 8 or 9. And my brother was always a rapper. My brother was in love with hip hop. And I remember I was sitting in his room and just he was heavy on East Coast rappers and underground like battle rappers. He loved the commercial rappers too. Right. But the East Coast them was our niggas, East Coast rappers.
Who's your go-to?
It's okay. So I love me some Beanie Sigel.
Okay, I can see you with Beans.
Freeway. Ain't listened to Freeway in a while though, but during that time, heavy on Beanie Sigel. Of course, Jay-Z, all them. Cassidy. My brother used to listen to Cassidy. Underground shit. Peter Guns. Corey Guns.
Corey, yeah. Corey is Peter's son.
Yeah. I remember. I'm just trying to remember his name. Right. But yeah, it was a lot of, and then we watch State Prop. I would watch State Prop over and over and over, and that was my shit.
I know you.
State Prop was my shit. So yeah, and I would just sit in his room. But one thing my brother would do, and then of course like Nas, even though he wasn't East Coast, but now naming the other rappers that we love. But my brother would sit and he'd be like, I would watch him write his raps, then he'll rap them, then he'll record them. Used to do it on the CD player and the tape player. Like he was cold. We had the boombox. He'd record his raps with the headphone and shit. And I just sit in his room and just be amazed at that shit. And then I remember as we got older, he would sit in the room and he would just teach me what cadence is, what flow is, how to identify a good rapper. Right. So I that's where I started first. I was good with my ear. I was good at identifying good rappers before I really start rapping. Right. And so I will be talking, I'll be in the circle with all the niggas. Only girl, and I'm talking about rappers and all this shit. And then I tell niggas if they suck, like you suck, like for real. But as a teenager, I remember my brother, the hood we grew up in, my brother would be on the corner. They called it the green box, and all the niggas would be over there, and they'll be battle rapping, right. And I'll be the only girl over there. My brother like, he made me go home and shit after a while. Like, Poopy, get up out of here. It's a lot of niggas. But I used to be excited because they all rapping. And my brother used to win all the time.
Okay.
all the time. I used to be geeked to go to school and tell niggas my brother won battle. My brother would be freestyling and he be winning and he'll kill your brother in rapping, nigga. Like I was proud of that. I was a proud little sister of a brother that could really fucking rap. And it wasn't just my biased opinion. It was real time empirical results. It was the streets, you know. So then he was also known in high school for knowing how to rib and rap niggas by freestyling.
Okay.
So my brother real coded freestyling more than writing. But writing, he really go crazy if you give him the time to write. But just how cold he is off the dome. And so I just was amazed at that shit. I thought it was art. I thought it was cool.
It is an art.
It is. It is. Yes, it is. Absolutely. Ashe. But I just loved it. And it was my brother is my favorite rapper.
Oh, that's
yeah, like I love my brother cold to me. Okay. And then because he talk about shit. He could do his low vibrational shit, but he has a lyrical intellect. Niggas be stupid and just rhyming. The fuck is you talking about? Anyways.
no, you in your bag. I agree. I agree. When I used to write, because that's when I used to work at Wells Fargo. Me, Maul himself, Kev, and a couple other people, when we were working and work was slow, we just used to just sit there and write and just try to outwrite each other.
Yeah.
And then after a while, they was out here, they was doing their thing. They was literally getting their tapes, Missing Link. Shout out to them. I still got their CD, and I just showed more the other day, their first CD. And they was out here getting they doing their thing, and I had stopped writing for a while, but my ear turned into the music side. So I started producing, I started making beats, I started creating all of that. And I like to build and compose. So what a lot of people don't know is introducing people to unknown artists and giving people who need to be heard is actually one of the other backbones of why TDR even started. So while everybody was building their podcasts in the beginning, I had a whole show called Sound Dropping. That was nothing but playing music that you never heard from. And I would be on, because we were very heavy on Twitter back then, right? Okay. So I would look at artists and they'll be dropping their links and I'll find their YouTube. It's like, yo, this is fire. And I'll go and tweet them. Call in on this number right now. And literally they'll call in and they'll hear their song is being played. And we'll have an on-the-spot interview right then and there. And for a lot of artists, that was their very first time ever having an interview. Yeah. And like after that, it was like, yo, we got to keep going. We got to keep doing this. And then it ended up growing to be what it was. I stopped doing sound dropping after a while because the state of music just had altered for me at one point.
So back to what I was saying.
Yeah, it had altered. So speaking of music, how do you feel about the music scene in the city of Milwaukee, though?
How do I feel? Say that one more time for me.
How do you feel about the music scene in the city of Milwaukee?
I didn't get heavily into it while I was here. Okay. The music is different here. Mm-hmm. I don't find a lot of individuals like myself, or they have their own lane and I have mine.
Right.
But it was rare. My lane was rare here, so I don't really. But I have tapped into a lot of the songstress out here. Not a lot. I'm not gonna say a lot, but Troy Tyler getting his shit off.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I've definitely fucked with his music. And there are a couple others that's not coming to the forefront of my mind. Shout out to the singers here in Milwaukee. But a lot of the rappers, I respect their art. But a lot of them I do not listen to.
Because it's a different vibe.
Yeah, it's a different vibe. And I'm on some other shit.
Like I be telling my brother.
I'm on some other shit.
I be telling my brother, it's just not your bag.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not your bag.
Besides, like my brother, a couple people I was fucking with, doing music with, actually featured on. One was from Milwaukee, then he moved to Atlanta. And then the other one was from Memphis and had a big ass name for himself in Memphis. He's the one that started pushing me in 2021, 2022 to do music. And he had me featured on a lot of his songs. And he's the first person that got me on a stage performing, like really real life performing.
Right.
For people to come see us type shit and that shit. And he was on my ass. And I still wasn't really believing in myself. And I feel like after a while, he was just like, listen, you got to have this, and this in order if you really about your music and you really want to do this shit. And he kept telling me, kept pushing me. But then I feel like he kind of felt like I really wasn't seeing it and wasn't ready. And I respect that. Like, I wasn't upset about it or anything. So he kind of fell back. But the songs that we had out together, they were fucking hits. Like, we got a lot of good feedback, a lot of plays and things like that. And did a couple shows with him. So I was grateful for that. He taught me a lot. But look at that. One moved out of town, the other one wasn't even from here, besides my brother, being an individual that pushes the fuck out of me.
Right.
But yeah, I don't really know a lot of the music
That's
here in
okay.
Milwaukee. Yeah.
Because that's part of the next part. You moved out of Milwaukee.
Yeah.
You just was gone. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know until your brother told me. So what made you make the move?
I've been wanting to leave since 2017. I love my city. I love Milwaukee. Milwaukee is intense.
It is.
Milwaukee is heavy. And being a high vibrating bitch that I am, it takes a lot of energy, strength, and power every day to stay above the low shit.
Mm-hmm.
And also provide the support that the people need to stay above the low shit.
Okay.
And so it was exhausting me.
I can believe that.
And I don't want to be exhausted with my city. So this is one of the reasons. I have many fucking reasons. The other reason is the sun. Sun.
You definitely moved to the best place to get sun.
The sun. I need the sun. We need the sun.
Mm-hmm.
That helps us down on a biological, molecular level, on a neurological level. Like a lot of this shit happening is because people don't have the sun, and their serotonin levels and melatonin levels is low. They angry, depression, all these other things, and we could get deeper into that, but that's a whole nother conversation.
That's a whole nother show.
Yeah, a whole nother show. However, and I was feeling that, especially when our little 2-month summer would end, I would feel myself go down, and I'm fighting. And then I'm also in a position of guidance now. I'm no longer working a 9 to 5. I'm in a position where people come to me for healing.
They do.
And that was becoming heavier and heavier. It was fucking with my money. It was fucking with my mothering. And I was like, yeah, this got to end, like for real. And so I made the executive decision to leave and then come back every summer. Snowbird.
Nothing wrong with that.
And I also come out multiple times throughout the year.
Like now,
in and out though. On business, here to feed and give the people what they need and heal souls, and then I'm out the door and to go regenerate, recalibrate.
That's no problem. Like 4 of my sisters live in the exact same space that you in, so I already know how much of a difference that could make on that. They've been trying to get me to move out there like crazy. I couldn't do it at the time because my mom was still here and she was, battling with her medical condition. So when we end up losing her last year,
sending you love.
Thank you. It was a transition that was cool.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna be out of here soon myself.
Yeah.
I'll be up out here myself. My whole business, if you've been paying attention to me, has shifted to the point where I don't have to be here to do it no more.
Yeah, you're doing a lot of shifts and pivots.
I have to.
I'm able to pour in and have more capacity for the city now.
Yes.
Because when I come back, I feel regenerated.
And you can see from the outside looking in what the needs are.
What the deeper needs. Like I seen the needs, right? But I'm in it too.
Right.
That's fact. I'm in it.
Yeah. So when you're in it, you don't receive it as well because you're getting immediate effects, but then you can't find. It's like saying you're in the house when it's flooding, so you can't really fix it because you don't know where the leak is coming from. But once you leave out the house, you can see where the water is coming in at, so you can
see the infrastructure from an outside eye, more clear view, bird's eye view almost. So it's like now I know exactly how to impact on a deeper level. I'm not gonna say exactly because I'm still learning.
You are,
but I have a more inclined position on where to go when it comes to supporting. And one of those main focus that I was given is stepping back so much from reaching out to the adults, and I'm going to be reaching and healing and working with the children. While still providing the things that's necessary for the adults as well, but for those who come for it.
Right.
I'm not reaching anymore. No.
I've done the same.
I'm not reaching anymore. In Milwaukee is a heavy reach. This city is really battling alcoholism. We have the highest numbers in the cities You know how many cities is in the United States?
It's a lot.
And Milwaukee is like number 4.
But you also have to look at what's on every single corner.
Yeah.
What is, and I'm not just only talking about just only in the city of Milwaukee, but look at Wisconsin as a whole. I was watching, I'm heavy into watching documentaries lately, especially on YouTube. And I was watching one called Why Milwaukee is Not a Normal City. And one of the biggest things that they stated was because we are literally connected to the biggest freshwater resource with the Great Lakes, because 20% of the fresh water in the world is located right here in our Great Lakes.
Yeah. We're sitting on gold. This is a golden city.
Exactly. And breweries and people who owned those breweries knew that. So because they had this infinite supply of fresh water, they were able to mass produce. And being the fact that factories and alcohol and stuff like that was literally our biggest resource for a very long time, it did not surprise me for so many bars and lounges and alcoholism being as high as it is here. Because when you can literally just at one point in time walk to your local corner store, which was literally on the corner, and grab a 6-pack of 211 for $2.
And it's a lot of suffering emotionally, you know, that leads to that as well. So I have compassion to it. But it's sad, and it's a lot of suffering, you know, and it gets challenging. And that's for any type of addiction that, you know, oftentimes, because that's my background in social work. So of course I know all of these things as well from a professional standpoint.
You're doing your thing in that role too. I'm proud of you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so before I left corporate America, my degree's in social work, so I worked in social work, but I worked with the youth. I was an at-risk youth advisor for years, and then I also worked for the state for a little bit prior to that. But anyways, no, not anyways. Moreover, when I look at, you know, the circumstances of why these things are happening, you know, it allows me to have compassion, but I'm not going to keep making excuses either. But that's with any addiction, especially if individuals are in denial. Any addiction, if you can't continue to try to help them or change them if they don't want it, you know. And I found myself, because I'm a nurturer by design. Ashe, thank you. I'm a nurturer by design. So a lot of times, yes, I will say, because I'm real. Like, I'll be like, this bitch she an alcoholic, but I'm still reaching out. I still want to help her because I love to help, and I want to see my people do better. And I also can see your divine self. So I know that there's something deeper in there that is better, that isn't an alcoholic, that wants better for herself, that wants better for her children, that don't want to drink every day. And there's an emotion behind that, and why these habits are happening and taking place consistently. So I would want to support that, or just, even if it's not alcoholism, just the emotional downsides of dark emotions, you know. And I was there before as well. Like, I've been through it all. I've been her.
So now that we are at this pivotal point in your life where you have not only found your purpose, but you're living in it, and you're growing in it, and you're changing lives in regards to it, what's next for you?
Greatness.
It's always been there.
Yeah, but I'm talking about real time here in my motherfucking face in this lifetime, so I ain't got to do this shit again. Because a lot of people have greatness in them.
This is a true statement.
Everybody has the ability. We all have the ability, but that doesn't mean we operate in it. But I'm talking about the greatness being here in my flesh and manifested in real time in my flesh. So all the things that I am great in here, operating itself on the outside, experiencing itself on the outside. That's what's next for me. So I'm focused in that walk, in that embodiment.
Okay.
And I deserve that, and I desire it. And it ain't no more playing small. Ain't no more playing small. That's for not just for me, for whoever that is for.
Okay.
For you too. What the fuck is we playing small for?
I'm not small no more.
Absolutely not.
This belly proves I'm not small, but that's a whole other conversation.
But yeah, the just the mental of, you know, shrinking ourselves, or not feeling like we're inadequate, or feeling like we're not good enough, or questioning the gifts. Why we not doing all of it?
Because we didn't know no better until now.
So you mean to tell me there's a divine creator that sent us here to work somebody else's fucking dream all your fucking life without being the successor in it.
Oh no, see, that's the lie that's been told to us, and that's a whole nother show.
Yeah, and I don't got time for it. So I want to be all the greatness that I am. I want to give jobs to others. I want to completely change and impact lives. I want my yacht. I want my land.
You will have your yacht.
Oh, I'm having all of it. It's happening. It's happening. I'm allowing it to happen. Ashe.
All right. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up because we got places to go.
We do. We got somewhere to be, y'all.
We got somewhere to be. So I'd like to thank you for coming in. When you come back in town, we're going to have another conversation because we definitely got some stuff we got to cover.
Yeah. Should I bring the podcast back?
Can you handle that on your jacket right now? We'll talk.
We'll see.
We'll talk.
We'll see.
Because you know I can make it happen anyway.
I know you can.
Okay. But with that being said, we'd like to thank y'all for tuning in for this particular episode. Make sure you check us out on all streaming platforms. That's Speaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Make sure you follow Miss Grace Cole here on all of the things. She is everywhere. Just type in Grace Cole and she's going to show up. How do I know? Because I've done it.
Oh, wait, no. Let me give him my Queen's Crown Essentials. Queen's Crown Essentials on all platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and website. That's www.queenscrownessential.com. If you are interested in any wellness or healing services or my healing skincare, sacredlovewellness.com. You can find that on Instagram and Facebook as well. And when it comes to my lyrical goddessry, Queen Tender B, the lyrical motherfucking goddess in G, Queen Tender TNDRB on all platforms, and I'm streaming on all major platforms.
I was getting ready to say that. So make sure you check her out because she's fire in all the categories that she's in. With that being said, people, we are out of here. Peace. Bye.